So it's still unclear as to why exactly Tucker Carlson was let go from Fox News. I speculated last night. I thought the driving reason was probably this Dominion lawsuit. I've seen it reported in some articles that it was Rupert Murdoch, right? Rupert Murdoch was not happy about the January 6th footage. Who knows at this point? I'm sure the truth will come out eventually. But there's an untold side to this story, which are the allegations of sexism and misogyny in the workplace surrounding Tucker Carlson's team. Let me put those in air quotes, right? Quotation marks. In short, what's going on here is that a former female producer of his, who was fired from the company, by the way. Okay, let me make that clear. So this former female employee was fired from the company for breaching privacy agreements. So that's the source of this. But she has filed a lawsuit alleging wrongful treatment in the workplace. Okay, so wrongful, one of those like wrongful whatever blank lawsuits. Now, when you go through what this woman is actually saying, it's not sexual assault, right? It's not anything like that, which obviously, you know, that shouldn't be tolerated, obviously. But that's not what's being alleged here. What this woman is alleging is basically that Tucker Carlson's staff and producers made offensive jokes. Okay, the basic allegation here is that the co-workers of Tucker Carlson were funny. Okay, that is essentially what is being alleged here. The New York Times here reports that, you know, this woman alleges, quote, male producers regularly used vulgarities to describe women and frequently made offensive jokes. On her first day working for Mr. Carlson, Ms. Grossberg said she discovered the office was decorated with large pictures of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi wearing a plunging swimsuit. So that is the lawsuit here, again, being filed against Tucker Carlson by this former female employee. You know, it sounds kind of like a fun place to work, doesn't it? Kidding, of course I'm joking, of course, you know, but in all seriousness, you know, that's what you're filing a lawsuit over. You're filing a lawsuit over the fact that the guys made offensive jokes and they had a funny meme of Nancy Pelosi in the office. Okay. You know, they weren't raping anyone. They weren't abusing anyone. They didn't do anything. They were making jokes, locker room talk, if you will. Like, that's just ridiculous. And let me be clear. This is not the first time I've seen this happen. This happens, right, all the time, including to Don Lemon. Right? The complaint against Don Lemon is basically more or less the same thing. It's not that he raped someone. It's not that he hurt anyone. It's that, like, he was mean to women in the workplace. He was not a nice guy. What does that even mean? What is it? Oh, he was mean. Okay, that's not a violation of civil rights law. That's not a violation of any, you know, serious known corporate policy. What is the misconduct? Okay? And honestly, if you ask me, this is the problem. There is no misconduct there. And that's why, you know, call me sexist all you want, oh, whatever, sound the controversy alarm. But we need to have a serious conversation about women in the workplace. Okay, because this is just all this stuff is nonsense, and the standards now in the kind of corporate world are completely ridiculous. And like I said, it's not just Tucker, it's not just Don Lemon. This is all the time, right? So let me just ask this question to the feminists, whatever, the people who stand by these corporate HR policies and all that. How are male human beings, supposed to function like human beings in the workplace if the most benign thing that you do, or perhaps even that you don't do, right, that you allegedly do, can get you fired from your job and sued by women? And let me be clear, again, I'm not talking about sexual assault. I'm not talking about things that obviously, you know, are bad. But this is at the point where if you make a joke, lawsuit, fired. You tell a female coworker that, you know, they look pretty today, that's totally unacceptable, right? Lawsuit, fired. If you are even overheard by another female saying something to a guy, right? If you're just talking to a dude coworker, if you're overheard by a female, lawsuit, fired. So, my real question is, how are we as men supposed to even work with females, right? How are we supposed to work together if we have to operate under this assumption that literally every single thing we do and say is going to be used against us in a court of law and in corporate HR, right? And by the way, it's not just the things we do say or do. Even things that we don't say or do can still be used against us, because women also can just make stuff up and they will automatically be believed without evidence because our system is that matriarchal, right? So even if you don't do it, even if you never said it, you can still get fired as a man just because some girl doesn't like you or feels threatened by you. It really is that easy. You can just, the girl can just run to HR and say, oh, well, so-and-so said that, even though you didn't. Who are they going to believe? Are they going to believe the woman or you? Exactly, right? So how is a man supposed to function in a workplace? How is a man supposed to trust his female coworkers which to some degree, social trust is necessary in a workplace. You're working as a team. You're trying to, achieve a similar goal here, right? So how are you supposed to do that? Genuine question with this constant target on your back. They can't, right? Men are unable to do this. Our only option basically is to act like a complete PR robot for the entire workday, right? You have to act like if HRs, actually not PR, if HR programmed an AI GPT, you have to act exactly like that the entire day, which even then, it's still not guaranteed that you'll be okay, because women are, like I said, are still allowed to lie. So basically, the fact of the matter and working in the modern corporate world is anything you do or don't do, right, can get you fired and sued by women. So how are you supposed to be a man in the workplace at all? How are you supposed to even have a workplace, right? Because let's just say that there's a female employee who happens to not be good at her job. She's bad at her job. She violates policy. Well, you cannot correct her because that would be mansplaining. That's, again, creating a harmful work environment. And that's sexism. And then if you need to fire her, if you say, okay, you're not doing your job, you're fired. Well, if you fire her, you can surely assume that woman is now going to try to sue your company for wrongful treatment or whatever bullshit, right? So how are you supposed to do anything? How are you supposed to run a company, do stuff, work? You can't do any of this stuff, okay? And, some might make the argument that this is an inevitable consequence of the whole push for, but let me just say this, okay? If you are going to put women in the workplace and, demand, they need to be treated equal as men should view them as another coworker, then, that has to go both ways, right? I'm not saying it should. I'm just saying if you're going to create that standard, then it really ought to go both ways, okay? If women really are equal to men and really should be viewed the same exact place in the workplace, then there should not be all these special protections around them, right? A man should be able, so if they're the same thing, then a man should be able to talk to a woman the same exact way he talks to a man. And at the very least, it should not be this situation where, a man can't even, speak to a woman without, please don't sue me, please don't fight. It's ridiculous, okay? It's ridiculous, all right? And, if I were to be honest, if I were to be totally honest, on a personal level, get mad at me all you want, but this is why I generally would prefer working professionally with men over women. Okay, attack me all you want, right? And I'm sure one day they're going to bring... This is not a... Saying that's not a dig at any of the genuinely great conservative women that I do share professional relationships with, because I actually do trust them. There are women out there that I do trust, obviously. But I'm saying this. What I'm saying is that as a man in this world, why would you want to have to operate like this? You cannot approach any female colleague in confidence, because you genuinely have to assume that whatever female you are talking to is going to try to sue you or get you fired. If you look at her wrong, if you do anything, if you don't do anything, she just doesn't like you. That's the situation, right? And I think I speak for a lot of guys when we say I would prefer to be around colleagues that I can trust, right? Work with. And like I said, there are many women, I think specifically in the kind of conservative sphere, who absolutely are great people. But I'm just saying, like, if I had a choice, especially in the corporate world, if I were to be honest, it is way simpler to work with men. And why would you not want to do that? Because, you know, you work with women. Oh, I got to be watching for lawsuits in HR every 2 seconds. Why wouldn't you just want to avoid that? Oh, you can't do that either because civil rights law basically mandates that you hire women. So, you know, there's no out situation. Okay. And again, I'm not saying that's every woman. Again, there are several women in this space that I, you know, don't think would ever do that. I'm just saying, as a man, the legal system nowadays has to force you to be skeptical of literally every woman that you ever work with. And, you know, that's just the truth. So I don't know, again, if that's the explicit reason why Tucker Carlson is, you know, being let go and all that. But, you know, that is kind of this situation here. Hey guys, Vince Dow here. Hope you enjoyed that clip from the Vince Dow Show. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new to the channel. And be sure to check out the Vince Dow Show live every weeknight here on this channel at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It is a great show. Many are saying this. So leave a like, check out our other clips, and be sure to check out the show. Yeah. God bless.